Hello, welcome back to the channel. I believe this would be the fifth so-called podcast episode here. We've got some familiar faces and a singular new face, but this is a new sport, so we'll have everyone reintroduce themselves there because, thankfully these guys are all pretty much geographical fans and they like their teams, but one exception, but he's got a good reason for it. But you talk to a lot of these people nowadays, and they're just all bandwagon fans. But we've got some good loyal city fans here. I obviously am a Lions fan, you know this already, but we'll go around the horn and let everyone give their little spiel.
All right, I'll start. Mike Neuer, Dolphins fan, unofficial official president of the Dolphins fan club. We are one of the more electric teams in the league. Unfortunately, we do not have a first round pick, so got to clarify that for everyone.
And why is that?
Well, our owner likes to make some moves
Hey,
that
that's a
aren't
Michigan man.
classified as
You be careful. That's a Michigan man right there. Good guy, did nothing wrong.
classic. Should have known.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Exactly. I think the league is, using us as a example. It's baloney, if I had to say so myself. But we work through adversity.
Yeah. As Big Cat once said, just keep rewatching Tyreek Hill highlights instead of your first round pick.
Absolutely, it's even better.
Or Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Who's next?
Tyler. I happy to be back on the channel. I'm the resident Philly sports fan. I like to keep Blake a little balanced with a lot of his Michigan takes. Excited to be here. I did have two first round picks too. Shout out Howie. Best
Run the
GM
club.
in the league. Yes.
Yeah. My name is Weldon. I'm also happy to be back at the channel. And I am the resident New York scumbag, where I'm the solid Yankees, Giants, Knicks, Rangers type of guy. And let's go Giants. I'm excited to see what they do in this draft.
All those teams in the playoffs, kind of wild for New York, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean,
crazy.
It's New York or nowhere, baby. You know that.
Happy, no one wished me a happy anniversary. Today is the 7-year anniversary since last time a Detroit professional sports team won a playoff game. 7 years.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. Yeah, like that stat.
I would like to say this is how the NFL wins, that they keep us interested in what they're talking about, because we're talking to NFL right now. Like the Sixers playoff game is going on right now too.
Yeah. Sorry for the scheduling, but Weldon wanted to go.
No, just the NFL owns. I'm happy to do it too. It's because the NFL owns everything.
We were going to schedule a bit earlier, but Weldon wanted to go watch the Yankees get absolutely shit pumped by the Twins. So, it's okay. But it happens. So yeah, I thought we would just hop into this. We kind of randomly assigned most of these teams here. We have all of us picking certain teams. Everyone gets their own team. But we had to balance it out because me and some of us have efficient GMs, some of us don't. With me and Tyler both having 2 picks for our own team, and then guys like Neuer won't be picking until like Saturday. Them and the 49ers, but it's okay. Maybe they can figure ways to get back in there. A lot of action, but again, Jalen Ramsey is probably better than a corner you're going to draft in the second round anyway. But just thought we would start it off here. This is going to be what we would do if we were the GM of said team. So it might get a little crazy, might get a little chaotic, but I mean, we've seen crazy stuff in the draft before. I mean, last year we had people trading up for ACL receivers and things like that. But lots of trades already have happened. You can see here these trades. A lot of future firsts have turned into really high picks. So I think personally that might dampen the market going forward because both of these guys, Seattle and Detroit, traded away their franchise quarterbacks, ended up with top 5 picks or top 10 picks. So pretty good steal. And then the Saints were just idiots and wanted to trade up for Chris Olave and ended up giving up pick 10. So good looks for them. But
I thought it was the lineman.
It was the one where they moved up twice. They traded with you to move up halfway, and then they traded like a 3rd round pick to go up even farther. It was weird. It was the Saints, because the Saints moved up twice. Yeah, because they moved up for Olave and like whatever their edge rusher is. I think he's almost already out of the league. But Saints do a lot of good stuff over there. I mean, that's why they're 200 million over the cap. But the cap doesn't matter. It's fake news. Exactly. So I thought we'd start off here, and I would play the sound, but you would get copyright strike too. Good God, but the great jingle there. But on the clock is the Panthers, and up first is our good friend Tyler in the GM seat here. What do you like here, Tyler?
So I'm gonna follow the odds here. I'm actually a big believer in the draft odds when it comes to predicting what's gonna happen in the NFL draft, and it's all pointed towards Bryce Young right now. A big swing I saw. He's now like minus 470. So I will put Bryce Young on the board, bring him to Carolina. Uh, I believe in him. I don't think the size is going to be too much of an issue. I don't think he'll be necessarily a franchise quarterback, but in this draft, I think it's too hard to turn down his resume and just like the talent that he has, the leadership he has. Like he's A+ on character, everything. He's got the Nick Saban stamp of approval. It's hard to go wrong with that. So I feel like it's kind of a high floor pick, a little bit higher floor than CJ Stroud necessarily or any of the other options at quarterback.
Now, here's something I like to do when we look at our good friend here, name escaped me, Bryce Young. You look at here, this is all the skill positions and offensive positions. You've got one Alabama guy, and you just keep going here. This is the top 100 players, right? You've got one Alabama skill position in there, and he had almost another Heisman season. His ability to win in the SEC. I mean, Alabama was an objectively bad team last year, especially for their standards. Everyone says they only lost, they lost 2 games at one point, and 2 of the best games I've ever seen. They also won 2 games by 1 point. So, they could have easily had 4 losses, and he played so well. And it's good to see that he's in a good spot here with Carolina. They brought in tons of weapons, Thielen, Miles Sanders. They've got a bunch of other guys around him. I think it's a really good spot for them to be in with your old coach, Frank Reich. You like that fit there, Tyler?
Yeah, I think Frank Reich's a solid coach. And shout out Josh McCown, quarterback coach.
Yeah.
This is his first job. Love him. I would have hired him as like the Eagles offense coordinator, like now. So I think he'll be great for developing that quarterback as well.
All right. Now we got General Manager Neuer on the clock for the Texans. What do you like here?
So I was debating between CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. My mind was swayed by one thing, and that is I absolutely despise Ohio State. So I will be taking Anthony Richardson with the second pick.
Yes.
He played in the SEC. The combine sold me. He's built for the NFL. We were talking earlier this week. There's no doubt in my mind that man is going to be a star quarterback. And I think if the Texans are smart, like myself, they will take the star.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at them, right? I wish I could go back and pull up their draft capital. They've got the Browns pick here at 12, and they've got another Browns pick next year, a first round pick along with them. So they have enough draft capital where they can trade back up if it's bad. I mean, you can't have Davis Mills out there again, right? We're not doing that.
Oh my God, no.
Right? That was cute. Let's get the Stanford guy on day 3. Fuck out of here, right? Anthony Richardson, sure, he's a boomer bust pick, but if you're the Texans, right, you need a boomer bust guy. You're coming off of having a pretty tough situation at quarterback, clearly, right? Get the most freak athlete in the building. The guy is an absolute combine warrior, which, you hate to see guys working out in tights and it's like, hey, this guy's good. It's not football, but, his ability, he had a terrible cast at Florida around him. Same thing with them. They have one player out there. They're, a guard is their only other guy getting drafted in the first 2 days. I absolutely love the pick. And I think that if you're in a team with the Texans, I think it's a really good spot for you to swing for the fences. And I really like that. So
Texans have got nothing to lose too. They've been a no-name franchise for a while. I can say that because my franchise has been a no-name for a while. You gotta make some noise, like you said.
Boomer bust. Yeah. You don't want to go with the high floor guy at here. I mean, I don't know. Because a lot of people have been saying, if you don't like CJ Stroud, that they've been really flirting with going with Will Anderson at 2, which would make everything go crazy in the draft, which I would love the chaos. But any other thoughts, Weldon or Tyler, on AR over Mr. Stroud?
AR-15, man.
Go for it.
I
Shoot for
like
the
the pick,
stars.
honestly. I like the pick. I think you got to go. I'm kind of in Neuer's boat. The combine absolutely kind of floored me. Like he looks like a beast out there. You think he's just gonna, he's definitely one of those boomer bust type of guys. But like you said, Texans, they need that type of momentum shift in their franchise. So
Get D'Amico Ryans now. The defense will be fine. It's
Yeah.
just got to figure out the offense.
Texans sneaky had a really good offseason too. They signed Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz. They had Devin Singletary in there too. There's another guy. They have Nico
Singletary
Collins,
went there.
Michigan man, but they've gotten a lot of pretty solid weapons as well. So, and you get another pick at 12, you can go probably offense there, or even get another defensive guy if they fall. But we'll see what GM Neuer thinks. But I really like that pick, and I really like going outside the box. But up next, we have one of the picks that someone wanted to claim ahead of time, and I think Weldon's rushing to the podium right now as the GM of the Cardinals. But he could be the GM of the Cardinals because their actual GM is suspended. That's a very fun wormhole if you want to go down and see what happened there. But it was a long night in Mexico City for fake Weldon here. So let's see what happens with pick 3.
well, Ola. And the Cardinals will be going with Will Anderson at this position. Will Anderson, I mean, I think he just slots in perfectly. I think they're not going to go. I mean, look, thinking about it, with all the rumors circulating around Kyler Murray, I could definitely see them potentially, if these continue to float in an extrapolated crazy world, drafting a quarterback and then trading Kyler Murray just because they don't want to deal with him playing Modern Warfare all the time when they could be winning football games, which they haven't been able to do at a very high level in the past couple of years when
He's got a prestige, man.
Exactly. But I think that Will Anderson will slot into that not Carolina, Arizona team, and he will be like what Chandler Jones was in Arizona, and he will absolutely dominate. He'll get 10 sacks a year, and especially if you look at all the fast edge rushers that have been coming out and dominating the NFL since 2016 when Joey Bosa came out, and then you see like Nick Bosa, T.J. Watt, Micah Parsons, all these fast edge rushers are coming out and absolutely wrecking havoc on quarterbacks, and so I think that Will Anderson will do the same. I could see him having a double-digit sack for a season, and I like it. I like the pick, and I like the player a lot. Great guy, great talent.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where like you're gonna watch him. Like I like watching. Sometimes I watch games with like casual NFL fans, and you get a lot with like a Micah Parsons type, where they're like, "Who the hell is that guy? Like, what is he doing? Like, he's just big, fast, strong." That's Will Anderson, man. I mean, he outplayed my guy Aiden Hutchinson big time 2 years ago, and should have been invited to the Heisman ceremony over him. But I might lose my Michigan fandom for saying that. But I mean, he had like 15 sacks the year before. He was getting double teamed and schemed against the entire time, and he was still putting up production. I mean, he is the most cannot miss prospect I've seen in quite a long time, especially on defense. But I think there's like 2 guys in this draft that are can't miss guys, and he's definitely one of them. So I am the GM of the Colts in this situation, and I kind of like where this has fallen for me. I would have loved Anthony Richardson at 4. Because there is a little bit of rumors that Richardson could go 3 to another team that hops up if it goes the way that people think it is.
Maybe the Colts can trade up then. I want to see my boy Steichen with
yes,
AR.
That would be an unbelievable fit behind that line with Jonathan Taylor. Oh my God. But again, I have no problem taking CJ Stroud here. He is the best Ohio State quarterback I have seen. I do think that I have a pretty good job of assessing Ohio State skill positions, especially with them, usually putting it down my throat, if you will, when I am watching there in the student section, watching, Zeke Elliott go for 1,000 yards, J.K. Dobbins, Chris Olave, endless skill positions of Ohio State guys. That's why I always say with Jeff Okudah, it's like, if I don't know who you are in Ohio State, especially with how good they've been against Michigan the last decade, you're not good at football. So thank you for drafting him in pick 5 and then trading him for a 5th rounder a few years later, whatever. This is not a Lions video. Sorry, mini rant. But Stroud's been an absolute animal. People really weren't high on him. And then that Georgia game happened where he was going against the best defense maybe of all time, and he was ability to throw on the run. He was flicking the wrist, and he was right down to Marvin Harrison. A bit of concerns with the fact that he's been surrounded by 1st-round picks everywhere. you know, how we've kind of been talking about how some of these other teams and their quarterbacks, no one's getting drafted. Ohio State's got 1 billion guys getting drafted this year, especially on offense. So that might be a bit of a worry, but behind that, good offensive line. And again, with Shane, I think it's a good fit here. And I think that he might be the first Ohio State quarterback to do well in the pros. And that would be fun for me because he's the only Ohio State quarterback to go 0-2 against Michigan. So good looks there.
Jesus Christ, you're such a
All right.
Michigan boy.
Hey, listen, I got it. I'm wearing it right here. I gotta get my licks in because Michigan probably isn't gonna have a guy drafted in the first round. So I gotta get my licks in against Ohio State. There's 2 other guys that go in first round in Ohio State, so got plenty more material.
All right.
For the Seahawks here, we have Weldon on the board again.
Yeah, and you know, this is where I said, you know, Jalen Carter territory starts, and this is where Jalen Carter territory ends because the Seahawks are going to take him 5th overall in the draft. I think before all of the hullabaloo, we'll say he was a consensus top 2, if not number 1 overall pick in the draft. And you know, yes, he may have some off-field issues and some potential character flaws. However, if you look at what he's able to do on the field, he's able to absolutely move people like it's nobody's business. And I think that he'll be a force to be absolutely reckoned with for years to come down in the NFL. I feel like the whole pre-draft falling of Jalen Carter, it reminds me a lot of Laramie Tunsil.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Different situation, but oh my God, like he's undeniably the best player at his position in the draft. And, you know, he's going to get a huge extension once he's able to perform. It's just where is he going to be able to perform due to the dynamics of the pick. But I think
he showed up a little fat to his pro day. Does that concern you?
I'm not concerned. You know, look at there's plenty of famous athletes who've shown up fat. Look at say Sir Charles or other athletes across sports. But I think that Jalen Carter is going to be a great player for the Seahawks.
Yeah. A lot of people want him in Detroit bad. I would have no problem with him coming here. It's crazy that when you look at the way he plays is like being noticed as a nose tackle type player is pretty special. And I know people that watched the SEC championship game, he picked up Jaden Daniels with his off arm. He had one arm. He was getting like held. It was a holding penalty, and he reaches out with his left arm and just grabs him like it's like, you know, like a body pillow or whatever. Just like one arm lifts up a quarterback. You know, he's holding a 250-pound running quarterback in one arm, and they just blow it dead. He was celebrating with the other hand with him still in the air like it was like a child. It was unbelievable. And people in Detroit are convinced that he's going to fall to 6. We're going to pass on him, and he's going to go to the Eagles at 10 and just destroy.
I can only dream.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I'll tell you that much. But I absolutely love the pick. And I am on the clock with my Lions. And this is a pick that's really starting to heat up. And I think that this is kind of the top 6, I think is pretty locked in. And I'm going to go with Tyree Wilson, edge out of Texas Tech. I kind of had a video about this earlier, which will come out later in the week after this video. But, you know, edge is a term that's kind of really been popularized recently. He's more of a traditional defensive end, even defensive tackle if needed. He went viral in the combine for having a 7-foot wingspan. And everyone's like, wait, dude, why do you have a 7-foot wingspan in football? Are you playing the wrong sport? Big body, 6'7", I believe. Absolute weapon, transferred from Texas A&M to Texas Tech. And if you're playing, you know, Texas Tech, obviously known for their defense, of course, with guys like Patrick Mahomes and, you know, Cliff Kingsbury going crazy. But, you know, he was able to make a really big impact, going to be helpful in the run stopping, which we saw with the Lions' inability to play any defense at any point last season. Everyone ran the ball over him. Actually, I played all 3 of your teams. I actually just put that together. And you all ran the ball down my throat. But unfortunately, both of you beat me except Weldon. But that's
I was
okay.
going to say I will say the Giants kind of got both lines dominated that game against the Lions. I remember texting you that and being like,
we played you later in the season. But I mean, hey, like the game against the Eagles was awesome. And same with the Dolphins. Both games were like in the 40s. It was just track meets. Ford Field over factory for those of you that partake. But I think it's a pretty no-brainer pick here. And I think that both teams, you know, it's going to be who doesn't take Jalen Carter at 5 and 6, in my opinion. And it's two really good cultures, right? You know, you watch Hard Knocks, you know, I want to run through a brick wall. Granted, it's my coach, but I mean, I think everyone loves Dan Campbell and like the things they're doing there, just full football guys. And then you look over at what's happening in Seattle, and you know, Pete Carroll's got no problem usually taking so-called troubled players under his wing and making them work, and it's done it a long time. So if he thinks it works for them, you know, they have the higher pick because they won the Tank Bowl and that on the Thanksgiving, oh no, it was Christmas Day, I think it was, that they had Denver and LA playing each other, and it was the Seahawks and Lions Tank Bowl. But we'll see what happens there. But I really do think that this is going to be your top 6 in whatever order ends up happening. I'd be shocked, honestly, if not. I'm not a big Will Levis guy, and I don't know if anyone else is, but the first opportunity for Will Levis could be with the GM of the Raiders, who might actually know more about football than the rest of the Raiders picks in years past, is Mr. Neuer. So make sure your guy has to stay on the field. I believe they haven't had a first round pick stay on the field more than 2 years. So whether that be out of the league due to play or in prison. So no pressure here, Neuer.
Well, I would just like to say, if I could draft a coach, I would. I think that is the actual real weakness of the team. But I am gonna go with Devin Witherspoon here. I was taking a look at the Raiders, you know, whole roster, and the offense isn't too much of a worry to me. They got talent. It's more on defense, and it starts in your secondary. Besides, like I said, the coaching is definitely what the Raiders need to work on. I mean, they had how many 17-point leads did they blow this year?
Oh my God.
I can't. I hate the Raiders. You know, but at the end of the day, you gotta take defense. You know, it'll depend on what Jimmy G can do, and he also has Josh Jacobs and, you know, Devontae Adams. But started in the secondary, take the best guy on the board. It's not complex math.
Yeah, he was a fun watch. He played really well against Michigan when they came into town and held Michigan really in check. I mean, he is a total lockdown corner. Gets a lot of Jair Alexander comparisons. Loves to hit people, and you know, usually a lot of these corners are, you know, finesse types. They'll bat the pass away. He'll let you catch the pass, and then he'll put his helmet right in your gut, and you'll drop that ball, or it would be a fumble. But he always has a dirty helmet, like, you know, always like cuts and paints all over, which you love to see as like an old timey corner. For a while he was like mid first round, and now he's sliding up boards, and I absolutely love the fit. He's going to look great in that black and, I almost said black and gold, black and gray over in Vegas. Up next we got the Falcons and Tyler here.
I don't agree with this pick, but I'm going to take it because I'm going to just stick with what I think the team would do. I want to see the Falcons take Lucas Van Ness here. I feel like that would be a very Falcon-ish pick. They seem to love like that guy. People just fall in love with like the cool story or the freak athlete, kind of like drafting Kyle Pitts, where they drafted him a couple years ago, and like Lucas Van Ness just like fits that to a T. Freak of an athlete. Don't really know much about him. Like, it doesn't make sense to me how he can't start at Iowa, but he's being considered as a top 10 pick. I understand like there's a whole hockey situation involved. Once again, don't know much about it, but love this pick for the Falcons to take right here.
Yeah. I said it's like an NBA pick. It's like, you know, when you're watching the game, you're like, who the hell is Lucas Van Ness? I mean, he was a bench player at Iowa, but then he comes in every once in a while, and you're like, who the hell is this guy? 6'6", big dude that just kills people on the line. But he never played. It was crazy. He was like a third down situational guy, but I think he's going to thrive here. He's a bit younger. You put him on that fast turf in the Superdome. It always seems like it's, you know, fast turf there. I think he'll be able to, he plays like downhill. I think it's going to be a great fit there. I absolutely love the pick. He's one of these guys that he's going to play. He's going to, again, the farther we go into the draft season, the more he flies up. Like, some people are even thinking like a Trayvon Walker situation where everyone's like, who the hell is this guy and why is he number one? But I don't think it'll be that crazy. But I absolutely love the pick here. Up next, we've got one of the most incompetent franchises. We've got a competent GM for them for once. Weldon will be taking over the Bears.
Yeah. 9 at the Bears. I was originally slating to look at Paris Johnson. However, due to the picks and the way that I'm drafting, the way that I have my prospect ranks, I will now be drafting Christian Gonzalez out of the University of Oregon.
Ooh, I like
I really like Christian Gonzalez. He has all the tools necessary to be a really good lockdown corner. I'm also might be a little biased. I am a Ducks fan for college football, but I thought that, I thought that he was a lock, honestly, at 8. And so to see him slide down a little bit, I think that the Bears would be willing to capitalize on that situation and go ahead and take up Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, big body, 6'2", runs a 4.3 40. Was a track star, did a bunch of track over at Colorado. Then when he transferred his senior year to Oregon,
Is his sister dating the Lions
I think so. I think so. I
quarterback
saw
or backup?
Yes, you're right. I saw something about that. Yeah.
Remember the guy in Hard Knocks who was watching the girl run in the Olympics
he was a quarterback at
from Purdue?
Purdue.
Because Gonzalez was committed to Purdue.
He was.
And
Was
then
it
and then after the
Blau?
guy, like, he
Is it
just
David
decommitted.
Blau? I think it was David Blau.
Yes.
Yeah.
David Blau.
So yeah, that was a big storyline in Hard Knocks. Yeah, track family. And usually you think of track stars as like, small little dudes. He's 6'2", right? So he's a big corner. He can play physical if he needs to, but he can run with the best of them. And in that division, not many or in that division, not many teams you can really take it easy on. You got Christian Watson, you got what's it called? Justin Jefferson. Really got a physical there. Obviously Allen Ra my guy, but he's not really a speedy type guy. So get big, get physical, help out that atrocious defense. Hey, works for me. And up next, we've got the next pick of someone with their home team. We've got Tyler here at 10.
Yeah, so if I were really the Eagles in this situation, I'd probably trade back. I'm kind of at like a Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez, or Devon Witherspoon or bust situation with what they're in right now, and they need draft capital as always. But sitting here at 10 with this board, I will take Paris Johnson. The drafting like the Eagles would here, they would take Paris Johnson, the tackle out of Ohio State. Think he's the best tackle in the draft. Obviously, they have 2 tackles that they believe in for the next at least 2 years. But the deal they just gave to Lane Johnson. But then again, Paris also, I believe his sophomore year, played guard for Ohio State. So he has experience there, and he could come in and play right away at guard. They just lost their starting guard in free agency. So I think it would be just kind of like the safe pick to take there at 10 for the Eagles and following in how they typically like to draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely offensive line is going to be probably the play here. If you can't get the guys you mentioned, for sure. Peter Skoronski can play guard. He did it a bit more. He's got really short arms, but I mean, we saw with short arm tackles from Northwestern, Rashawn Slater worked out well. But
yeah, but I'll take the guy who's the better tackle who could also play guard, rather than the guy who's a better guard who could also play tackle.
Paris Johnson was in very, very, very good tackle, and was helping Ohio State in their dominant run in the last few seasons, especially in the Big Ten against some pretty good edge rushers. So I remember he did a really good job against Ojabo last year. Last pick here, or not last pick, next pick up here, we have the Titans. I am the GM here, and it's just a weird spot for the Titans, man. Like, they're kind of trying to rebuild. Obviously, they got rid of AJ Brown to the delight of our good friend Tyler here. But they have a weak division, realistically speaking, especially last year, right? The Jags obviously played real well down the stretch, and it's just a weird thing that they're doing. And I think they're going to continue to stay weird, and they're going to go Will Levis here, in my opinion. I'm not a big Levis guy at all. If you get benched for Sean Clifford and you can't beat Sean Clifford out and how bad he played at Penn State, yikes. He did play decent at Kentucky with like Wan'Dale Robinson being the only guy with a pulse on that offense for 2 years. But, he's the pick all the nerds like, and they're like, hey, Will Levis, he's got all these things. He's got a cannon arm. Obviously a little bit hypocritical for me being a big AR-15 guy, but Anthony Richardson's fast and can do backflips, so he's way cooler. But no, in all seriousness, Ryan Tannehill gets hurt a lot. Great guy. I know Michael attests to him. I like them as a Dolphins quarterback. But you know,
He was mid.
yeah, I
He
know,
was
but
mid.
exactly mid, boom. And then who's the other guy? Malik Willis. Did anyone watch that game?
He's horrible.
Oh, brother.
Awful.
Go take Will Levis. You need a quarterback.
Horrendous.
Damn it.
I am debating. Texans have absolutely no help, but at the same time, since they're so bad, it might be worth it to get some more draft capital and maybe some talent. What are we looking at here? What are we looking at here?
Got a lot of good weapons here still. A lot of good receivers.
Sorry, well, I gotta take JSN. I gotta do it for the Texans franchise and organization.
Decision, I get it.
The Texans literally have no help. I mean, what's it called? I drafted Anthony Richardson. You might as well give him a receiver too. Make it worth it for him. So we're rolling with that. Like I said before, the Texans have nothing to lose here. They can only go up. I mean, they should have had the first pick, which to this day was an all-time moment. But I what is it? Who's the coach again, or who was the coach?
Lovey Smith, baby.
Lovey Smith. What a way to go out. I'm not gonna lie. What a
Nice
way to
double
go out.
bird on the way out.
Yeah. They hired me next year, okay. But yeah, right with him. He was a top receiver in college. I mean, him and Marvin Harrison Jr. were an elite duo, especially with a quarterback like CJ Stroud. So get him a guy that see what he can do, see how much damage.
Yeah, for sure. The popular thing is Stroud going 2 and JSN going 12, and kind of doubling down on what we've seen across the league of pairing up guys with their college receiver, obviously most famously Burrow and Chase, and that's worked pretty well, I would say. So
second most famously Tua and Jalen Warren.
Exactly. So it's starting to happen a lot, and I think it's a good thing. And JSN, he had
Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith.
Bingo. But yeah, he had a good 2-game run by JSN with the Rose Bowl where he went nuclear against Utah, and then he single-handedly kept them in the game against Michigan. He had this one catch where he was getting pass interfered with, and he reached around him and picked it off. It was unbelievable. Those 2 games alone are you can just watch his whole highlight tape. I think in the Rose Bowl he had 13 catches, 350 yards, and 5 touchdowns, something stupid. It was video game numbers out there. So, Texans again need all the help they can get. On the clock here, we have the Jets, and making the pick for the Jets is Weldon, New York. There you go.
Yeah. So, other New York team. I think the Jets will be going with Peter Sikoransky.
Yeah.
The tackle out of Northwestern. Like we said earlier, Northwestern tackles seem to do well in the league now, especially ones who may have tiny arms, but they're doing all right. And I think that he's the best offensive tackle still available. It's either between him or Broderick Jones at Georgia, but I think he probably will edge him out in a little bit if he's still available at the spot.
Yeah. Hey, get Aaron Rodgers help if that even happens. I would imagine.
I have a question for the Jets GM. Do you have any more information on Aaron Rodgers? Is he coming? Is he not? Is he tripping on shrooms right now? What's going on?
No comment on the psychedelic state of Aaron, but we are maintaining contact and monitoring him.
Okay, good to know.
My guess is something happens
on draft night,
at 5:00 on draft night, and it just pops off. I think it'd be great. They've been talking about a lot of things, like a 2nd-round pick for Aaron Rodgers. I said, why don't you add in a pick swap of the 1st round and just have them switch picks? I think it's a little bit extra value the Jets could offer and not really, just do too much, but whatever. 1 pick over the Patriots, whatever. But speaking of the Patriots, I'm on the clock with the Pats. I think, Bill Belichick, I'm a big player over coach guy, especially when it comes to Brady versus Belichick. He's kind of not done the greatest, I would say. I think it's pretty easy to say in the last few seasons. Granted, not much going on, but the whole letting Mac Jones just like basically die with the rocket scientist and Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinators, two defensive guys. That was very smart. And then Mac Jones went to Steve Sarkisian and was like, "Hey, Steve, I know you helped me in college and you're a pretty sharp offensive mind. What the hell is going on in New England?" And Bill Belichick goes, "You can't do that." So now he's potentially about to get traded, Mac Jones. I said that there could be some major, major stuff going on with them, maybe jumping up for Will Levis and, them instantly crowning him the next Brady, because they have two next Bradys on the roster, which is kind of impressive. Bailey Zappi, obviously future Hall of Famer, and Mac Jones already has a bust made out in Canton. So, shout out Bill Belichick for his great picks.
They should trade for Brock Purdy.
I think that they could maybe
I think
do
Brock
that.
Purdy. I think.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I fucking hate Brock Purdy.
Go for it.
His whole story started against the Dolphins, and you know what? He had to play against the most Swiss cheese defense.
We watched
ever
that game
for the
together.
Dolphins.
Oh man, that was tough.
Worst game I've ever watched. Our defense was horrible, and that gave him that false hope that he was capable of playing quarterback. I can't stand Brock Purdy.
I said I feel real bad for the other quarterbacks that get drafted late. Like if you're like a Clayton Tune or like a Stetson Bennett, you're just gonna instantly compared to Brock Purdy. Sorry. As for this pick, I think that they're just gonna go best player available, and for me, that's Kalijah Cansey. I think they're just gonna really try to shore up that defense and just beat people to death. Cansey, smaller guy out of Pitt, instantly gets comparisons to Aaron Donald. He's not even close to Aaron Donald because Aaron Donald at least had weight. Kalijah's a little bit smaller, but it's another, weapon for them to figure out. I like Lucas Van Ness here a lot too. If he falls, it seems like it's just a Patriot guy. There's all these guys just spawn and play really well. Like Josh Uche, not the best at Michigan. He was okay, and now he's really good next to Judon. They need help because for me, they're guaranteed last in their division. I know that's music to Mike's ears, but you really hate to see the Patriots sucking. I think we're all in agreement there. It's just tragic and so bad for the league that they suck.
Yeah. We actually
pour one
I got
out.
no beef with the Patriots. We kind of own them for a little bit. At least 50-50 split. So but yeah.
What happened in the last home game for last regular season home game? I think was it Mike Gesicki and Fitzgerald on that ass. Interesting.
Oh, that one like a few years ago.
Oh yeah,
Patrick. That was a legendary game of all time.
Yeah,
I like it when the Patriots are good because the Giants seem to beat them in the Super Bowl a lot.
Oh, there you go.
Both teams are good. We usually end up on top. We'll see.
Speaking of teams that you hate to see be a dumpster fire, the Packers. Oh man. Up for the Packers will be GM Tyler, and let's see if he spites Aaron Rodgers here.
I'm going to take Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame. I want another weapon there.
You can't draft offensive players in the first round as the Packers.
That's true. Now that Aaron Rodgers is gone, we're going to do it.
Love the pick. Keep going. Sorry.
I want a tight end, and I think he's the best tight end in the class. Although shout out to Dalton Kincaid, the kid out of Utah, is just like a sick athlete, and he'll be fun to watch in the league.
Yeah, Michael Mayer. I know you're a bit of a Notre Dame guy. You probably love
like the Irish.
Big tight end from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, checks out. He loves to block, which you like to see from your tight ends, especially ones that you're going to use so often. They love using tight ends over in Green Bay. And what's the best, tight ends is a quarterback's best friend. And you're bringing in Jordan Love. Obviously, he's not like a rookie, right? But he'll be a rookie in terms of starting. Get him a big safety blanket with Robert Tonyan leaving for the Bears. Easy fix for me. Absolutely love the pick. The run on dumpster fire organizations continues with the ever name changing Commanders. They obviously just changed owners, so happy for all of those out there. And they recently hired Eric Bieniemy. So let's see what GM Neuer does for the Commanders.
I might get a little ballsy here. This might be a way too early pick, but at the same time, I absolutely love this pick. They need a quarterback.
He's doing it.
We're taking Hendon Hooker. We're going We're going nuts on the table, taking Hendon Hooker. He's not even out there on that board. That's how confident I am in this. I have never seen a quarterback. Screw Anthony Richardson and all the other quarterbacks in the draft. This guy is a sleeper. I've never seen someone where I turn on a football game and I'm like, oh my God, that is the best throw I've ever seen. And then, oh my God, 10 minutes later, it's the best throw I've ever seen. Hendon Hooker coming off the ACL. I just don't want to see him fall to another team. That's kind of how I view it. So we're taking him early. We're going for it. Hendon Hooker.
Definitely caught me off guard. Not really. I kind of saw it coming when because I know how much you love Hendon Hooker and you kept asking me about it because I'm a bit of a Tennessee fan with my sister going there. It was going to be interesting to see. I kind of compare it to the whole Michael James and all the skill guys out in Oregon. It's like, okay, is it the athletes or is it the system? I think, he's got really good interviews. You can't really grade him off of his pro day and stuff because, he's on one leg right now, but he's a super smart guy. He comes in experienced, right? He's obviously a bit older at 25, 26, but
doesn't matter.
I know.
I think he was 24. Joe Burrow was 24.
Yeah.
It's okay. He will make up for it with the skill on the field.
Put him up there with Eric Bieniemy. I absolutely love that fit. Have him do some Mahomes plays. They've got a really good running game, the football team. Sneaky, not a bad team, but obviously in a real tough division. So we'll see if they can make it out of there. But again, they got some pretty good receiver weapons. They got some tight ends. They got some dudes. They've got a lot of holes, but they've got a lot of dudes. So I kind of saw this coming when you started saying, "Hey, I this is a guy I love. I don't know how much you like him." So again, the Pistons, the Lions, we're talking about, maybe taking him at 18. I thought the Bucks maybe would be his ceiling, but I definitely could see the football team doing it because who's their starting quarterback right now? Matt Corral, really doing that. Carson Wentz, okay. Alrighty. Up next, we got the Steelers and Weldon will be the GM of the Steelers.
The Steelers are very excited to make this pick. The Steelers will be drafting Nolan Smith, a dog, an absolute dog to pair alongside TJ Watt.
Wow.
Nolan Smith, product of IMG Academy down in Florida. Shout out Andre Cisco, former freshman year flag football teammate of my own, who's now a Jacksonville Jaguar starting safety. But Nolan Smith would just pair absolutely beautifully on this team. I think he'd fit in great with the system. I think, the culture, everything, he's a freak athlete. He can jump freaking 40 inches in the air. He's an edge. I think he'd fit in great with this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Total great fit. You're telling me you got a 6'3" dude that can go kill the quarterback that runs a 4.3 40? Are you insane? I remember watching the combine and my jaw dropped when I saw that time come up because obviously it was 4.39 live. I think it was a 4.43 live. And even a 4.4 at his position, at his size, holy, that's a lot of man moving a lot really quickly towards that quarterback. And you need that in this division for sure. So, a perfect Steelers pick. Him or Joey Porter would be perfect Steelers. Up next is me with my team. Now, a lot of people like Quentin Johnston here. I personally don't. He's getting some very disrespectful Calvin Johnson comparisons, just being a big ass receiver. He can't really use his size very well. No, this is not me salty that he ran it down my throat in the Fiesta Bowl, but I think the pick here is Dalton Kincaid. I was going to go tight end regardless. With Michael Mayer off the board, it makes my pick easy here. As cute as the Zylstra brothers are, we can't be having undrafted free agents in competitive things for the tight ends. And, Brock Wright was a pretty good tight end too, but let's get a real good athlete in there. Dalton Kincaid, Cam Rising would target this guy 100 times a game if he needed to. And he carried the team so well. He's got a little bit of back issues, which is kind of why he slid down the board, I think, a bit, but love this pick here for the Lions. And I think it's a match made in heaven. Another weapon for Jared Goff or maybe Lamar Jackson when we trade for him.
Jared Goff.
Absolutely. Also known as the Fisher. Pick 19 here. The Tampa Bay, as they called it. Buccaneers. We've got Neuer back in the chair.
This one is not as crazy as the last one. I'm going to draft Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. One, I love the name Darnell. I think that's a great football name. Two, we're riding Tennessee. They had a great season. I can't say too much more after that. I'll let Blake explain a little. But yeah, that's where I'm going.
Big guy. He can play a little bit of guard, play a little bit of tackle. For me, his highest praise is Will Anderson said he was the toughest guy he played against. And if you got a guy that good and he was able to 1v1 against the guy that's the best player in this draft, hey, it sells it for me. We all know that that bum Tom Brady was not the savior of this team. Ever since Ali Marpet, Hobart legend, retired from the Bucks, this team has been a complete dumpster fire. So retire Ali Marpet's jersey. He should be in the Ring of Honor. It should be first ballot, no questions asked in Canton. But yeah, so that's the big reason. And this Darnell Wright can help play guard and help out the massive hole left by Ali Marpet. Up next, we've got the Seahawks. GM Weldon is back in after picking Jalen Carter at 5. He's on the horn here for pick 20.
Yep. And now here at 20, the Seahawks will be sticking with great names in guard play, Osiris Torrance out of Florida.
Oh man.
6'5", 350. That's all I gotta say is I don't want to. I imagine trying to get through that brick wall of a human being. That's 6'5", 350 of Osiris.
Osiris.
Yeah, a lot of what you see is you watch the Anthony Richardson highlights, and you're like, "Who is that dude that just threw 2 guys and had a hole big enough you could drive a semi truck through?" That's Osiris Torrance. Seahawks had those great pair of tackles last year. They drafted Charles Cross, and then the other dude I always forget. Both all rookie teams, and then they add another guard to it. You've got 3 guys that are all rookies and second-year players on their offensive line. And then they got the massive addition at defensive tackle, build those trenches out in that tough division when you got to play, super physical teams out there like the Rams and the Niners. Love the pick here. It seems too good to be true that you can get this physical and freakish of a guard. Obviously, everyone's going to say positional value. Shut up. If you get the best guy at your position, no questions asked. I don't care if it's, think about positional value. Would you take Justin Tucker in the first round if you knew he could get a guy like that good? That's just always my response to positional value, because I think, he would go pretty high here. If you had a guy like Justin Tucker in a redraft, I think he'd go sneaky high. But I digress. Up next, we have the Dolphins. Oh, shit. My bad. We have almost Sean Payton and almost Tom Brady at pick 20.5.
That's bullshit. Should have our first round pick. Just fine us. Just take his money.
It's crazy. Out of all the things and all the scandals in the NFL, trying to get Tom Brady, your owner, and getting involved and doing the thing as an owner and trying to make a difference that's where we're setting the line at.
Trying to revive a franchise here, NFL. My God, Roger Goodell, scumbag.
Think about how good it would be if you get a good pick here. You get another weapon or another offensive lineman or even a corner like Deontay Banks would be so good on the Dolphins and help that division out. You're already getting Aaron Rodgers in the division.
We just signed Is Robbie Anderson changed his name? Can anyone know that?
Yeah, his name's Chosen.
Chosen.
What? Got it. What?
I know, I saw it. It was like Chosen in air quotes. I thought it was just Schefter,
was
tweeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spending too much time with Cam.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. But up next we have the new Kellen Moore-led offense of the never sorry about choking Chargers. We have Tyler.
I'm not sold on any of the receivers here, to be honest with you. The 3 that are on the board. So I'm going to go with a little bit of a fun pick, Bijan Robinson. Give Herbert a bell cow running back, and if you're going to trade Ecker, trade him. And now you can.
Absolutely love it. People don't.
I feel like at 21, it's okay to draft running back there.
Yeah, I mean, you get 5 years of Bijan. He's, I think, the only other guy in the draft that's like so head and shoulders best of his position. Bijan even played a little bit of slot receiver last year. And,
Yeah, he's
Eckler,
unbelievable.
yeah, we see what Eckler does catching all those balls over there. I absolutely love it. And again, a 2-back situation with him and Eckler, if, maybe Eckler will like see that it's going to be a problem and he's probably going to be traded. I think that's surprised that no team's gone for Eckler. I think that.
Well, didn't he ask for a trade?
Yeah, he requested a trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of teams out there with a lot of second-round picks that should take a hard look at him. Like, obviously, I would have loved the Lions to do it, but they signed Montgomery.
Bring him to the fish. My God.
Yeah. Hey, go for it, man. I mean, he would be perfect. Run the ball in the safety blanket for Tua. Love that fit. Let's see here. We've got the Ravens now. Seems like they might be a bit happier with their quarterback situation, maybe, after Odell and them parting in Miami of all places. We've got Neuer as the GM of the Ravens.
I'm going to base this pick thinking that we're re-signing Lamar Jackson here. Because if we don't sign, or if they don't sign Lamar Jackson, then this pick is for nothing. We're rolling with Quentin Johnston from TCU. Lamar needs help. He got Odell, but Odell hasn't played in over a year. You need to get him some sort of talent. And who's the other guy on there? Ravens wide receiver. He had 75. Yeah, he's fast, but he got hurt last year. I think he also tore his like ACL. So, the Ravens also can never stay healthy. So throw some depth in that wide receiver. So, if Lamar's there, have some help. My goodness.
Yeah, big dude. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4". Big.
Throw it up.
He's super fast, as you saw that he took a screen to the house against Michigan, like an 80-yard screen. Dude, very fast. Ran away from DJ Turner, who ran a 4.29 40 at the combine. So, yeah, he can move. He's big. Look, playing in purple again. Great color fit. Boom, love it. Up next, I tried to avoid this as much as possible, but this is just kind of how it fell here. I am the GM of the Vikings, one of my division rivals.
Excuse me, Blake.
Yeah, they keep thinking that they
want to accept the trade.
Ooh, yeah. What's up?
25, a second, and a future fourth.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have to give up that much for just jumping up 2 picks. I think that you could probably just get away with. I keep doing the Cowboys instead of the Giants. I think if you go just
a second, that and a third, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all you need.
Right, go for it. Go for it. And
yeah.
The Giants will be drafting Jordan Addison out of USC.
Boom. Run to the podium. I love it. Elaborate, please.
So, Giants I'm disappointed that Quentin Johnson went up at 22. And I do not feel like, as a Giants fan and looking at how proactive their GMs has been, the new GM and their coach and their new system, I feel like they're not going to be sitting back and waiting to see if he falls down to them at 25 when they're potentially, play people like Minnesota Vikings could very well take him. And then we end up with Zay Flowers, who is, who in all right does have a great looking highlight reel at Boston College. But I don't know. I feel like Jordan Addison is he's more of a player that you can't miss as opposed to Zay Flowers. And as a Giants fan, I would want them being proactive in a situation like this.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, we saw pretty much every year, right? Once one receiver goes, they go quick. Like last year, it was Olave went, and then it was Garrett Wilson went, and then Olave went after a big trade up. Lions trade way up, got Jamison Williams. I mean, there was like 4 receivers, and then Drake London went as well. Same here with this. I think you got JSN up top, and you've got a big group of players. Obviously, Quentin Johnston's a different type of receiver, but there's about 5 to 10 real solid slot receivers in this draft. And I think Addison stands out. Obviously, Blitnikoff Award winner with Kenny Pickett over in Pitt. Went out to USC with another really good quarterback. Went crazy, and then you're upgrading from Caleb Williams to Danny Dimes. Yes, I said that. I love the fit. I think it'll be he's played some hard-nosed East Coast football. Casuals will be like, oh, this West Coast kid going to play in New York. All right, listen, he played at Pitt with ex-Michigan State man, Mr. Narduzzi. So that's a good system there, and I absolutely love the pick. And I think we could start to see some trade ups here with starting to thin out on some first round talent.
I also would like to hear Tyler's opinion as a Eagles fan, knowing that the Giants are likely going to take a wide receiver at this, in this draft in the first round. Who would you least like to see, knowing that
JSN.
He'll
JSN's
be
the
off
only
the board
one
early. He'll be off the board early.
I'm fine with any of these other receivers. Addison doesn't scare me. You can't be that short and that slow. The Quentin Johnson, I don't know. TC receivers don't scare me. Shout out Jalen Rager. And then I do like Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is good.
Yeah, I mean, Addison had a really weird combine. He was slow. He showed up a little overweight. For a receiver, that's a kind of a big deal, but he's shown on the field that he knows what he's doing and he can go crazy. So,
but like a compare, this receiver class is not like last year's or the years in the past or next year. Is going to be great too.
Really down receiver class. I've said like my favorite position groups is like corners are really high, edge rushers are pretty good in this draft class, tight ends as well. Receivers not so much, and even running backs get pretty good in the second round. But the Jags, who's the Jags GM? We've got Tyler.
I believe. I'm going to go just eating it up for our captain, our golden boy Trevor. I'm going to draft Brian Barisi out of Clemson, the D tackle. I think he fits need, and just load it up with the Clemson boys. Make it as nice and comfy for the golden child down there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, him or Miles Murphy would be a great pick there. I like it. Just clog up the run. You're facing Derrick Henry twice a year. Let's get some big bodies to get in front of him. I absolutely love that pick. I got the guy I still want is here. I trade back. I have Mike's favorite guy as my new defensive coordinator, Mr. Flores. What does he love to do? Press man coverage, island corners. Joey Porter Jr., super physical corner. It's funny if you look at this,
help Joey Porter Jr.
If you look up his highlight video on YouTube, you can't find a highlight video over 3 minutes from him, which is really good as a corner, which means no one threw the ball at him. Like Sauce Gardner's highlight video was like 2 minutes long. Okay. The shorter your highlight video is as a corner, the better it is because no one threw his way. So that's just my quick pick there. And now we got the Cowboys. It's also me, the way the trading works. But what was that, Mike?
No, I said God help Joey Porter Jr. if he's got to play man coverage for the entire season. Yeah. I watched that. Not great.
He's going to lead the league in flags next year.
Yeah. He's that's one of his
old.
They have that as a pro for him. He's a very grabby corner. I go, isn't that a negative?
Yeah.
Sticky hands or what it was. He's like grabs everyone. I'm like, all right, I think that's a bad thing. Up next, we have the Cowboys here. This would have been a Bijan pick for me if he was here. To take the Texas running back, keep him in Texas, super easy. But Bijan went up earlier, which I like. I think that Bijan's going to be really interesting because he's such a good player. I could see him as high as 14, or even the Eagles at 10 if they go crazy. I don't think so. A lot of people.
The Eagles are not taking
running
back in the first round. That's just they will never do that.
I said you'd take him at 30 if Bijan's there. But
if you draft Bijan at 10, he would be making more next year than Miles Sanders is getting with the Panthers.
Yeah, for sure. And
you would take Bijan for the Cowboys. Don't they still have Pollard?
Yeah, didn't they franchise that?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, they did the same thing with Zeke. They've got no problem doing it. Nothing like paying a running back 3 years after breaking his freaking fibula. Okay, shout out the Cowboys. Never stop being you. I think Cowboys easy pick here. Not a homer. Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle out of Michigan, big body in the front. He broke the bench press record on one leg. He had a swollen ankle, so he was bench pressing. He had 35 reps on the bench press with one leg. He can throw people around, get some help up front. I think it's a good thing. Someone's got to stop Saquon, right? And especially the other running backs. Look at that division, right? Speaking of running in the division, the whole NFC East loves running the ball. So let's get a big body up there in front and get a damn M in this first round.
I got the Bills here. Miles Murphy. Just give me another edge rush. Bills need all the help they can get on that D-line.
Yeah. A team that Super Bowl window has closed. Yes, I have said that. Now that they have to pay Josh Allen the big bucks, I'll get I'm hearing the rocks being thrown at my apartment in Buffalo right now. We've got now, I believe, the Bungles. I think this would be Mr. Neuer's, if I believe correctly.
Yes. After losing Jesse Bates, I'm thinking, we got to fill that safety role. I'm gonna go with Brian Branch, out of Alabama. I'm a fan of Alabama defensive players. Still regretting that Minka Fitzpatrick trade. But yeah, got it. The hole's there, fill it, boom, right there.
That's his player comp too, is Minka Fitzpatrick. Saban said he's the same type of player, super cerebral, quarterback on the defense. Dude had like 100 tackles at safety. I absolutely love the pick. He can play nickel corner if needed to. Beautiful.
Throwback to when the Dolphins played Minka Fitzpatrick for the first time, and Minka Fitzpatrick picked us off for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it was his first game as a Steeler. One of those two.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've got maybe my favorite pick of the draft so far. I've seen two players at this position. One was Hendon Hooker, if they didn't sign Derek Carr. But let's think of Derek Carr. What is Derek Carr's favorite thing to do? I want a quick answer from everyone.
Launch it deep.
Yes. Who is the best deep ball guy out there? Jalen Hyatt, receiver, Tennessee. This man, paired with Hendon Hooker, he will throw that ball down there, and Hyatt will run under that ball, no questions asked. Those arm punts are going to be so many contested jump balls for Jalen Hyatt down the field. He's going to look absolutely beautiful in that, that gold and that black and that Superdome, inside dome, arm punts for days. I think it couldn't be a better fit here. I think that Hyatt would be. I'm shocked he's not going in the first round. This man, Flitnikoff Award winner. His highlight video, there's never a defender. I mean, he's getting Ben Simmons 3-point defense. There's no one even close to this man. And he is the fastest man in the draft for receivers. I think it's crazy he's not going way higher than this. Let me know your guys' thoughts. What do you think about this pick?
I like it. All I can think about Jalen Hyatt is like, he had 4 or 5 touchdowns in that one game.
5 against Bama.
It was cheating. You just throw it to him every time.
Yeah,
I love it.
And he's my dad's favorite college player of all time. Shout out SEC Herald. He's absolutely diehard SEC guy. And right after the game, he went to Kenny Chesney's bar, Jalen Hyatt, and it was him, Kenny Chesney, Morgan Wallen, and Peyton Manning sharing cigars and bevs after the game. So pretty good company. Up next, to close us out here, the last 2 picks, we've got Tyler for the Eagles again.
I'm going to take BJ Logar out of LSU. I fucked up that pronunciation. Like drafting out of the SEC, like when in doubt, they need to add on the line, especially as it is getting much older. I'm cool with that pick.
Yeah, BJ Ojulari, very good pick. One of the only good defenders on that team. That's LSU defenders. It's one of those things. Just you just take LSU edge rushers. It just works, right? So don't overthink it. And the Super Bowl champion Chiefs looking to repeat. We've got them on the clock. GM Weldon, good job with all your great successes building this team.
Oh yeah, of course. And there's one thing we know about the Chiefs: they love their offense and they love their weapons. So the Chiefs are going to take Zay Flowers.
I like that. Really help solidify that hole left by McCole Hardman, a few other guys. They signed Richie James, right? I think
they did. I
think he's going to absolutely feast. And they lost Juju as well. Zay Flowers, good guy inside. He's another guy Hyatt could go to. That'd be terrifying. Hyatt and the Chiefs. I had that. That was one of my first mocks. And I was like, let's get the best, most fun receiver with Mahomes. That'd be disgusting. But yeah, that brings us to the end of our draft here. Any closing thoughts or bold draft opinions from anyone?
I'm
excited. I still want my pick.
Yeah. You still want your pick? Yeah. So that's pretty much all we have here. I'll probably get some quick post-draft recovery videos for people here. Obviously a lot of picks for a lot of guys here. I think there'll be a lot of movement. Very excited. Thank you guys again for joining. Really appreciate it. And please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.